All right, so today we're going to go over dual relationships and sequential relationships. So let's go ahead and dive into this material. So, dual relationships are when two or more relationships or roles exist between the massage therapist and the client. In other words, the massage therapist and client are also involved in a non therapeutic relationship that extends beyond the therapist client relationship. For instance, there are different types of non therapeutic relationships, such as professional, colleagues or coworkers. This is a dual relationship we often have experience with as massage therapists, where we receive and give massages to our colleagues. Social, friendships, family members. This can be one of the most challenging dual relationships to manage because of the comfort level that already exists in the social relationship. Business partners or individuals who support your business, for example, attorneys and accountants. And then other influences such as the community, cultural, or even unethical and often illegal sexual dual relationships. So these are all considered dual relationships, meaning that two or more relationships exist at the same time. So for example, a massage therapist has a lifelong friend who is also on the same CrossFit team as he is, who would like to begin a therapeutic relationship. The prospective client is seeking services from his lifelong friend because he has always had difficulty with his shoulder due to an injury he sustained, where he tore one of his rotator cuff muscles during a high school football game. The lifelong friend wants to see if massage therapy treatments will help with his shoulder pain. So in this example, this relationship is going to take place at the same time. It is starting off as a non-therapeutic relationship, a social relationship, where they are both workout partners. And now they want to enter into a therapeutic relationship where it is a therapist and client relationship. Okay, so let's go ahead and discuss some of the benefits and risks to consider in a dual relationship. So a few benefits are if someone is anxious or has a sense of uneasiness when trying out massage therapy services, it is easier to trust someone that they already know, making a dual relationship beneficial. Also, there's an increase in the therapist's understanding of the individual. In this case, the massage therapist who has a client on the same CrossFit team has a better understanding of the areas the client uses when they compete together. Now, some of the risks. There's a potential for a misunderstanding in communication or expectations of the therapeutic relationship. For example, let's say the client who is also a friend misses an appointment and is surprised to find out that he will be charged for this missed appointment as per the policies and procedures. This could very likely end a friendship because of the unclear communication or expectations of the therapeutic relationship. Also, unclear boundaries. For example, the client and therapist have difficulty maintaining clear boundaries and begin discussing locker room talk during the treatment session and in the waiting room on the way out, while the next client is waiting for their massage therapy treatment in the waiting room. It is necessary that the therapist is mindful and sets clear boundaries so that these roles do not overlap. So now let's see what a sequential relationship is. So sequential relationships are when one relationship ends and another relationship begins. So for instance, a few classmates graduate from their massage therapy program and decide to go into business together. Students graduate from the program and are hired by the school after they are licensed. The instructor and student become lifelong friends, or a friend of the instructor becomes a student in the class he teaches. So for example, a former massage student begins working at the school she graduated from after receiving her license as a massage therapist. Now the former student and her former instructor are no longer in an instructor-student relationship. That relationship has ended, and another relationship has begun. The current relationship would be considered co-workers or colleagues who now work together to successfully run the massage school and business operations. So this relationship has ended and this relationship has now begun. So this is considered a sequential relationship. So now let's talk about a few benefits and risks to consider when entering into a sequential relationship. So benefits. There's a greater trust of hiring the former student because her perfect attendance in class can vouch for her commitment and loyalty to the profession. The former student also has a vast amount of knowledge and understanding of how the massage school and massage program operate. Now, risks. There's a potential for a misunderstanding in communication or expectations of the new role. For instance, the newly employed massage therapist is finding it difficult to equalize the power differential that existed in her former massage student role, meaning the former relationship of the student and instructor still has an influence on the new role of being in equal status. The student and instructor will have to change and reconstruct the way they communicate and work together. Another risk is boundaries can become blurred in their new roles. For instance, the newly massage therapist interrupts the instructor during lecture to ask a question about a likely contraindication. Now, under normal circumstances, this wouldn't be an issue and is expected during a student's internship. However, because the newly massage therapist is expected to know or at least look up this information, the newly employed massage therapist is unintentionally crossing boundaries. Another example of blurred boundaries is the former student finds it difficult to manage her new role and the expectations of this role. As an employee of the massage school, it is expected that the employee cleans up the break room at the end of the workday, when normally the students can leave as soon as they are finished. So, a few key takeaways on how to deal with dual and sequential relationships. First, we need to make sure we have strong boundaries. Strong boundaries help the therapist and client manage therapeutic relationships, as well as non-therapeutic relationships. It helps to distinguish the roles more clearly, whether it's a dual or sequential relationship. It is essential that we uphold and honor the client's confidentiality, especially when the dual or sequential relationship are unavoidable because they are influenced by a smaller community, meaning you are more likely to see your client out and about in your small town. Now, it is advised that you do not approach your client if you see them at the local coffee shop, unless they approach you. And even then, do not discuss any information concerning their therapeutic treatment unless they begin to discuss it first. It is the massage therapist's responsibility to educate and inform the prospective client or client, ensuring that they know and are aware of the benefits and any risks involved, so that the client can make an informed decision on whether they want to enter a dual or sequential relationship. Also, it's important to stay up to date with your state laws and regulations for massage therapy. For instance, in Minnesota, a therapist must wait 2 years after a therapeutic relationship has ended before dating or becoming involved in an intimate relationship with any former client. Also, avoid any unethical and often illegal sexual relationships with clients. This has shown to be harmful and have negative consequences for both the client and the therapist. If you're ever unsure of any risks involved with entering a dual or sequential relationship with a client, it is advised that you seek supervision from a supervisor, counselor, psychologist, coach, or trusted colleague or friend. However, make sure that you uphold and honor the client's confidentiality when discussing any details. Having an objective point of view can really help you understand the situation from an unbiased perspective. So if you're ever struggling and unsure of whether it's a good idea to enter a dual or sequential relationship, seek supervision. That way you can see it from an objective point of view. So let's cover this one more time to make sure we have an understanding of what a dual relationship or sequential relationship is. So a dual relationship is when two or more relationships exist at the same time. So these are taking place at the same time. And then a sequential relationship is when one relationship has ended and another relationship begins. So this one is done and now they are entering into another relationship. So make sure you have an understanding of what dual and sequential relationships are. It is likely that you will see this information on the MBLEx. 16% of the MBLEx will cover ethics, boundaries, laws, and regulations, meaning that there is likely 16 out of 100 questions on the MBLEx over materials like we covered today. I would also encourage you to make sure you dive into your textbooks and do a little bit of research online over dual and sequential relationships. That way you have more of an understanding of this information. As always, do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions concerning this material. My email is in the About Me section of this YouTube channel. I hope this lecture helps you going forward. Have a wonderful week ahead and I will see you in the next video. Y'all take care.